Hello and welcome to another edition of the Morning Update live on NTN. I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Jessie Leonce and today is Tuesday the 8th of June 2021. We're entered another month and we hope that it is just as productive, if not more productive, as the previous month. We continue to be under a state of emergency. We continue to have the curfew in effect here in St. Lucia, running from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. Daily. And we do hope that you continue to adhere to the protocols as per the legislation. We have a few updates for you as usual coming out of the government of St. Lucia. The government remains committed to ensuring access to health care for all on island. Diplomatic allies continue to aid in St. Lucia's fight against COVID-19. And the government of St. Lucia launches its Love St. Lucia Premium Corner. I'll also be going over the official announcement of St. Lucia's Miss World 2021 contestant who will be vying for the international crown on the 16th of December 2021. She's preparing for the San Juan, Puerto Rico event, and upon announcement yesterday, we got to hear from her during the press conference held right here at the GIS studios what her intentions were, the preparation that lies ahead that will be administered, facilitated by events company St. Lucia. So stay tuned for that and more coming up later on in this program this morning. We also have, as usual, the latest developments from the Ministry of Health, the latest update from the Ministry of Health in terms of the COVID-19 situation. We have recoveries, new cases to report, and also an update on our national vaccination campaign. So do stay with us. When we come back, we get into the meat of things.
We can win this war. Get vaccinated. We're taking our life back. Get vaccinated. We know what to do. Get vaccinated. COVID-19 we won't lose to you. Oh no. Take 2 doses. Take our life back. Time for a brand new day. Take 2 doses. Take our life back. To live and work and play. Take 2 doses. Take our life back. The health experts we trust. Take 2 doses. Take our life back. Vaccinate for you, for yours, for us.
Let's take our life back with a safe and effective AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. The mobile vaccination drive is coming to you. Visit the Ministry of Health and Wellness and Bureau of Health Education Facebook pages for more information. Let's take our life back. Vaccinate for you, for yours, for us.
Get vaccinated.
This message is brought to you by the Bureau of Health Education of the Ministry of Health and Wellness and this station.
St. Lucia ka registre vermin corona ek I ka fait mouvement ek an chay vitesse tan chaque canef ka kouye pour vigilance publique la fait wolo parler en place publique kon bol en main base ti boutique changer distance sociale 6 pieds hod yon a lot I ka travay tan si ou senti ko pa cordial quarantine ko pas en contact et puis l'autre en cas où te toi pe exposé c'est un écouye free 11 ou ben n'importe clinique yo pou les pays a dimi à clé ça veut dire les supermarkets pharmacie et puis ATM yo accessible avant c'était souhait pays à clé en plein ça veut dire tout bagay fermé à 24 heures. Servi protocole comme sorti par bureau indication santé. Nous tout ensemble, ça sauver vermine corona. Si nous tout servi jidla à toutes les.
Together let us win this war. St. Lucia be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
Thank you so much for staying with us. If you're just joining us this morning, good morning to you. For those of you watching on air, online residents right here in St. Lucia and St. Lucians in the diaspora who are tuning in to keep abreast as to what's happening in their island home, good morning to you. Thank you for making us your wake-up station, your morning station with the latest developments from the government of St. Lucia. And we're talking healthcare. We're opening with healthcare. The government of St. Lucia remains committed to ensuring equal and equitable access to healthcare for all St. Lucians. The government is currently in talks with the World Bank and other stakeholders to determine which national health insurance NHI modality is best suited to the population and its objectives. The Ministries of Health and Finance recently provided an update on the NTN program issues and answers. We have a report on what transpired. National Health Insurance, or NHI, is a prepaid mechanism through which an individual in a country can access healthcare without paying out of pocket. As part of efforts to strengthen St. Lucia's public healthcare system and ultimately a means to attain universal healthcare, the government of St. Lucia is moving ahead with the introduction of NHI. The purpose is to provide all legal residents of St. Lucia with low-cost insurance policies irrespective of their socio-economic status. The state is especially committed to purchasing policies on behalf of residents who are unable to afford the policy due to poverty or unemployment. Chief Economist in the Ministry of Finance, Janai Leonce, says the government is now conducting analysis to determine the extent of its role in purchasing premiums.
One of the things that we have been working with the World Bank and our other stakeholders as we are in the design element is to address which modality is best. So would it be best for the state to purchase all of the policies and then have persons who are poor and vulnerable receive from the state, and also persons who are not poor and vulnerable but would like to purchase insurance to do that for the state as well? Or whether it may be best to have the state simply focus on the poor and vulnerable and allow your non-poor to be able to access through their employer, through a provider of their choice, and so forth.
The government is also meeting with insurance providers to design annual standardized insurance policies with terms changing every 2 to 3 years at an affordable price point.
Right now, we are in discussion with private health insurance because they've submitted proposals, but what we envisage is that it will encompass a range of services such as inpatient care, outpatient care. We would have surgical benefits. We are envisaging to have air ambulance, but it's an ongoing discussion with the health insurance providers. It is not set in stone, but it is our vision for the health insurance to have those sort of coverage for the population.
In addition to waiving fees so that the poor and vulnerable are pooled into NHI, the self-employed and informal sector will also be required to join. The NHI will also break through traditional eligibility barriers for residents 65 years and older, as well as residents who have pre-existing medical conditions.
When you look at your non-working age, so 65 and above, they cannot have insurance, even if they wanted to, or they have the financial means to. So the discussion with insurance providers is to explore how the entire demographic, age-wise, can be covered. When you look at the market right now, what you see is that many persons cannot get insurance because of a pre-existing condition. Yeah. So it's actually one of the discussion points that we are having to explore how can we move away from that so that anyone, regardless of they having a pre-existing condition or not, can purchase a product that is affordable.
In the first phase of the National Health Insurance, the Ministry of Health, as regulators, will schedule a registration drive taking place at designated health facilities through the Health Information System. For the Government Information System, I am Jessie Leonce reporting. That was supposed to be Government Information Service. But definitely work on the part of the government, assiduous in securing health care for everyone, not discriminating based on your age, breaking those barriers and not discriminating against pre-existing conditions. We know these are some of the limitations where insurance offerings are concerned, and so the government of St. Lucia, hopefully we will get word on how they decide to move forward, even down to the price of the premiums. We will hear from the government of St. Lucia shortly on the decision and the directive going forward. So that word there coming from the Ministries of Health as well as the Ministries of Health and Finance, just giving us an update on the pursuit of national health insurance. We continue with this morning's update. The government of St. Lucia and the Taiwan Technical Mission through the 7 Crops project has teamed up with Massey Stores St. Lucia to launch the Love St. Lucia Premium Corner. We have Anicia Antoine from the Ministry of Agriculture with the details.
The Love St. Lucia Premium Corner is the latest initiative under the Buy Local campaign that forms part of the enhancement of the efficiency of production, distribution, supply chains in the fruits and vegetable sector project, also known as the 7 Crops project. The Premium Corner will be available at the Massey Stores supermarkets across St. Lucia and will primarily promote the buying of selected locally produced fruits and vegetables of the 7 Crops project, which includes cantaloupes, lettuce, tomatoes, pineapples, watermelons, cabbages and bell peppers. Perishables manager at Massey Stores, Dunstan DeMille, says the Love St. Lucia campaign is a step in the right direction towards encouraging local production and consumption.
We remain fully committed to working with the agricultural sector, our suppliers, our farmers, so that our customers would get the best quality produce produced locally. Our expectations for this Love St. Lucia campaign is for our local items to be our customers' first choice. We don't want it to be the only choice, but we want it to be the first choice.
Permanent Secretary of the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries, Natural Resources and Cooperatives, Barrymore Felicia, says that the public-private partnership will be of great benefit to local farmers and consumers alike.
But the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries, Natural Resources and Cooperatives, we are pleased to enter into this public-private partnership with Massey to launch the Love St. Lucia Premium Corner, and also recognize the efforts of the Department of Commerce in that process to buy local, promote local consumption, local production, and to create in some way local demand. And that is the intention. And these objectives align definitely with our 2015-2021 strategic plan at the Department of Agriculture. And it is embedded in that document that we have to boost local food systems, the quality of the food, and the safety of the food as well.
Ambassador of the Republic of China Taiwan to St. Lucia, His Excellency Peter Shen, expressed gratitude to all stakeholders involved in ensuring the success of yet another milestone of the 7 Crops project.
I sincerely believe that this creative and meaningful initiative has successfully brought confidence to both farmers and customers. 7 Crops project is another important step to awareness raising, promoting food security, and mitigating the impact of climate change.
The enhancement of the efficiency of production, distribution, supply chains in the fruits and vegetable sector project, also known as the 7 Crops project, commenced in 2019 and will culminate this year. From the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Agriculture, I am Anicia Antoine reporting.
Thank you, Anicia, for that report there. Speaking on the government of St. Lucia launching its Love St. Lucia Premium Corner. We are due for another break. When we come back, St. Lucia recovers 81% of U.S. market and non-stop flights are introduced. Also, we have the latest updates in terms of COVID-19, and St. Lucia receives a donation of ventilators. The diplomatic allies continue to aid in St. Lucia's fight against COVID-19. Stay with us.
Yeah, sons and all the daughters, the island of St. Lucia, the place that full of culture, beautiful people, good character, big mountains, good for adventure, driving volcano, you feel you can enter, natural resources, place to remember, right banana, cause I'm a jelly water, no way in this world that I go, nobody can tell me what I know, could I England go need a Tokyo, no place like Lucia, no. St. Lucia, my little chacalisco. Number one on me list now. Even when your own people them hit you, I will never forsake you. Sons and all the daughters, the island of St. Lucia, the place that's full of culture.
She's been watching, waiting, wondering. when the sands of time will give way to a tide of change, and for yesterday and today to become a new tomorrow, for a time when her sun can kiss the cheeks of your loved one and her stars can twinkle in her honeymoon skies, when her earthly embrace will reassure and calm your soul, and her unique view can change your whole perspective. Proudly, she has risen to meet new challenges and to provide safe harbor to all who reach her shores. For her hopes and dreams still stand shoulder to shoulder, a precious reminder of experiences yet to come. So, wherever your moments and memories take you, let her sense of adventure set you free. She is Saint Lucia. Let her inspire you.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. This is the Morning Update live on NTN. We're coming to you from the Information Command Center, where we continue to keep watch over COVID-19 and how it is managed here in St. Lucia. On Sunday, June 6, 2021, the Ministry of Health and Wellness received confirmation of 13 new cases of COVID-19 from the Ezra Long Lab, and this is from a batch of 232 samples that were taken from the 2nd to the 5th of June. The samples were processed on Saturday, June 5th, 2021. The newly diagnosed individuals were seen at various community respiratory clinics, and as usual, they have so far been isolated, and contact tracing is now underway. The Ministry of Health also received confirmation of the recovery of 8 individuals, bringing the total number of active cases in country to 150. All active cases are currently doing well, and none of them are requiring intensive care. The new cases bring the total number of cases that have been diagnosed since March of last year to 5,133. The Ministry of Health continues to implore the public to practice the infection prevention and control measures necessary to reduce the spread of COVID-19. So they continue to ask that you wash your hands frequently, use soap and water. If you don't have access to a faucet, use copious amounts of hand sanitizer. Wear a mask when you are in public spaces. Observe the 6-foot distance from others. Use bleach solution to sanitize frequently. Touch the surfaces and avoid contact with people who have flu-like symptoms. Now, if you are experiencing flu-like symptoms, as I mentioned earlier, these individuals who were diagnosed, they were seen at the various community respiratory clinics. These are still active. They've not returned to community wellness centers. They remain respiratory clinics so that testing can continue island-wide. Once you have symptoms, you can go, you can get tested, you can get assessed so that they can determine if what you have, the symptoms that you have are or are not associated to COVID-19. So the Ministry of Health will continue providing us with updates as new information becomes available. We know that the COVID-19 vaccination campaign continues. The Oxford AstraZeneca vaccinations continue to be administered island-wide. We encourage you to go onto the Facebook page of the Ministry of Health and Wellness to know when the vaccinations are happening in your neck of the woods so that you can prepare. You can go onto hmi.govt in the meantime, pre-register. Let the government of St. Lucia know, let the Ministry of Health know that you're interested. It's an indication of your interest so that they could prepare, so that when they're coming into your neighborhood, they come with the right number of doses for the individuals who have indicated their interest. So please carry with you your ID when you are going to the vaccination site, and also bring some refreshment, because you know sometimes you may have to wait a little while depending on the number of people who have come just as you. And if you're going for your second dose of the vaccine, you can also carry your vaccination card with you. That is very important so that they can tick you off as fully vaccinated against COVID-19 through the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. We continue this morning with more news coming out of our COVID-19 fight. Diplomatic allies continue to provide us with a tremendous amount of support, and this time the government of Mexico, in its most recent act of aid, did donate 2 ventilators to St. Lucia with a view of strengthening the island's capacity to provide care to patients affected by the coronavirus. We hear more in this report. Take a look.
The United Mexican States and St. Lucia continue to strengthen diplomatic ties through solidarity and cooperation on several projects. The government of Mexico has collaborated with St. Lucia on several projects, including that of infrastructure and health. The country has been supporting St. Lucia's fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, making several donations over time. This time around, the government of the United Mexican States, through the Mexican Agency for International Development Cooperation, MEXID, donated 2 ventilators to St. Lucia. Minister David Simon is the charge d'affaires at the Embassy of the United Mexican States in St. Lucia. The executive director of MEXID indicated that the ventilators will contribute to the comprehensive care of patients affected by the coronavirus in St. Lucia. She opined that no country can effectively address international challenges individually, especially when facing global challenges such as the COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has fostered a united front the world over as various countries continue to come to the aid of others in the fight against the coronavirus. No country has been untouched by the negative social and economic impact of this health crisis. Small island states like St. Lucia, according to Minister for Health and Wellness, Senator Honorable Mary Isaac, have been able to withstand social and economic upheaval of the pandemic with the assistance granted by diplomatic allies. These friendly governments, she noted, have come to the aid of such states, providing much needed support and supplies such as personal protective equipment, PPEs, and training, to name a few. Honorable Isaac expressed immense gratitude to the government and people of the United Mexican States for the generous donation. The ventilators were handed over to St. Lucia on the 2nd of June 2021. From the Government Information Service, I am Janelle Norville.
Thank you, Janelle, for that report. You see, not only the government working hard, but also friendly nations pitching in to assist us in the COVID-19 fight. A small thing the Ministry of Health is asking of us to continue adhering to the protocols. Very small. Adhere to the curfew under the state of emergency that we're in right now. I think as compared to the work that has been done on the national level and in the international space where our diplomatic allies are continuing to assist us in this fight, this is a very small thing to ask. We are due for another break. When we come back, St. Lucia is recovering 81% of its U.S. market, and non-stop flights are also introduced. Stay with us.
What's in the food you're eating? Do you really even know? All the chemicals and hormones used to accelerate their growth. All the artificial flavoring, sweeteners and colors too. We consume and we don't spare a thought for the damage that they'll do. No, think about the children. Think about the children. How will we save them? Chemicals and GMOs are not the solution. Use organic and join.
Excessive agrochemical use, additives, and genetically modified foods are harmful to health and the environment. Join the good food revolution. Grow, buy, and consume organic. A message from Rise St. Lucia and the Ministry of Sustainable Development with funding from the GEF Small Grants Program, UNDP.
The good food revolution.
What does coronavirus have in common with love? Both are highly contagious. Spread love, not the virus. Like you, COVID-19 loves a lime. Beach, river, or fed. Coronavirus is like these people who track every lime just to invade. The best way to put off invaders? Cancel the lime. Spread love, not the virus. Keep you and your crew corona-free. Live to lime another day.
Together let us win this war. St. Lucia be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
St. Lucia recovers 81% of its U.S. market and non-stop flights are introduced. We have this latest update coming from the St. Lucia Tourism Authority, and they did assure that tourism continues to rebound. I know we are preparing for the reopening of the cruise sector as well, but in terms of our flights, the tourism is on the up and up, really, auguring well for more jobs, for business linkages and revenue, with more eyes set on St. Lucia with additional options to the destination from international getaways. Just referencing this press release from the SLTA, they've indicated that serving as the most major source market amid the global COVID-19 pandemic. Visitor arrival data for May 2021 indicates that St. Lucia has recovered 81% of the U.S. market as compared to May 2019. And since the reintroduction of tourism on June 4th, 2020, to date, St. Lucia has welcomed over 80,141 visitors and surpassing 35% visitor arrival projections. The past month noted peaks in arrivals as the destination recorded yet another busy weekend that welcomed more than 3,000 visitors to our island. Tourism Minister Honorable Dominic Fede, representatives for American Airlines and staff of the St. Lucia Tourism Authority, SLHTA, were part of the delegation that welcomed the reintroduction of the airline service from New York JFK following the suspension of the service in 2009. The delegation also welcomed the inaugural non-stop service from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, and touching down to a water cannon salute at approximately 12:35 p.m. was the New York service, and just hours later was the 5:30 p.m. Flight. Yet another water cannon salute greeted the highly anticipated and data-driven service from Dallas. A combined total of 209 arriving passengers, including those fully vaccinated were met with a full complement of health and safety protocols. We invite you to tune in to NTN Nightly this evening at 7 p.m. where you will get the full story on St. Lucia recovering 81% of its U.S. market and the introduction of non-stop flights as well from the U.S. We'll be hearing more from the St. Lucia Tourism Authority in a report this evening. The Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, Local Government and Empowerment, through its Youth Empowerment Program, is tackling crime and violence from a different perspective. A recently hosted Anti-Crime and Violence Extempo Challenge was held virtually on June 6, 2021. In that vein, we have Herma Demac with a report.
The Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, Local Government and Empowerment, through its Youth Empowerment Program, hosted the Anti-Crime and Violence Extempo Challenge on June 6, 2021. The virtual event was held in conjunction with the Community Relations Branch of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force and the Central Development Bank. Gilroy Hall, host of the event and mentor to the participants, expressed that the initiative sought to engage young people on their views on crime and violence using extempo.
The format that was used is slightly different to the other challenges of the past. Generally, with the extempo challenges, you had the challenge being thrown out there and persons would just create their own compositions, send them in, and that was about it. But we took a different approach, and hats off to the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, Local Government and Empowerment for embracing this idea under the Youth Empowerment Project, and of course with assistance from CDB and of course the Community Policing Initiative of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. So we engaged the youngsters in a series of workshops. The idea was not to tell young people what to say about these issues, but to get information from them about their perceptions, their views, their possible solutions, or any ideas that they have for developing safety in their communities and community development.
Commissioner of Police Milton Daisy spoke on the important role that young people play in the betterment of society.
Partners in the organization of this workshop and the implementation of the Extempo Challenge, and very importantly, you, the youth of St. Lucia, who have embarked on a historic and novel journey. Partnerships in making our communities and country safer, more productive, and a joy to live in are extremely important, and your contributions today and in the years to come can certainly improve all of our lives. Our youth have a very important role to play in the nation building, and the subject matter which you are attempting to help us with is an area that we need to get under control at the soonest.
The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, Local Government and Empowerment, Felder Joseph, encouraged each participant to look within themselves to become productive citizens of society.
Thank you for participating in the Extempo Challenge. What a great way to showcase your creativity, your skills and your talents. Best of luck to each and every one of you. Remember, you are all winners.
The Extempo Challenge engaged 24 participants in 3 age categories from various schools and communities in Castries. Teriel Masion participated with an entry entitled Happy People, Happy Community, and Jaden Mondaisy from the Zaira Simmons Secondary School with a piece entitled Crime and Violence.
Ladies and gentlemen of my community, but there are some things that make me unhappy. The quarrels and fights really trouble me. We can do better, we can live peacefully. I may be too young to sit in parliament, but my community I want to represent. Here is my advice to everybody. Happy people means happy community.
First things first, what I wanna say is that our people mustn't go astray, cause all we can do is hope and pray that these bloodthirsty men never get their prey. Rapists and thieves, they are all the same. Rob you of your dignity, but don't be ashamed. Admit your cries, go make a report, so that you will get justice one day in court.
If
The feedback obtained from the participants will be used by the Royal St. Lucia Police Force to create new strategies to tackle the issues of crime and violence. From the Government Information Service, I'm Huma Dimar reporting.
I love it, I love it, I love it. Thank you, Huma, for that quick insight there on the Extempo Challenge happening under the Youth Empowerment Project. We've come to the end of this morning's program. The latest updates coming from the Government of St. Lucia. My name is Jessie Leon signing off, but just before I leave, just to let you in on the headlines, we have the Government of St. Lucia remaining committed to ensuring access to healthcare for all. Diplomatic allies continue to aid in St. Lucia's fight against COVID-19, and the Government of St. Lucia launches the Love St. Lucia Premium Corner. We also have the St. Lucia Tourism Authority updating us, letting us in on St. Lucia recovering 81% of the U.S. market, along with non-stop flights to St. Lucia being introduced. And we also, before I leave, I must state that if you have time during the course of today, go back through our live videos. Last evening, we had a press conference officially introducing St. Lucia's Miss World 2021 contestant, and she now has 6 months to prepare up until the international event being held in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Miss Tyler Theophane, we know her name. She was the 2016 Carnival Queen, and she will be representing us. We want you to throw your support behind this young lady. Events St. Lucia is really putting in the effort along with other stakeholders to ensure that she puts her best foot forward in representing her island home. And in speaking to her yesterday, we got the understanding that she's fully aware of the objectives, the feeling of a Miss World. And so she's going into this competition well aware of the mission from St. Lucia and well aware of the mission going into this competition. And we do hope that she represents us well. But in the meantime, we hope that you support her. Go follow, subscribe, click the like button, everything in terms of all her social media platforms, so that you know whenever she does something new or she requires the assistance of as many people in the population and the wider world as possible. So go on, take a look at that press conference. It was very insightful. We got to hear about what it took to finalize on this representative for us, the winner of this audition. We know that some 5 or 6 persons participated, contestants participated, vying for a position for this opportunity, and ultimately we had Miss Tyler being selected out of the creme de la creme, out of other finalists, individuals who have won, who are queens in their own right, winning Carnival Queen competitions, pageants, and also runners-up as well. So take a look at it, listen to the plan of events St. Lucia, and also listen to the words from Miss Tyler Theophane as you become convicted into supporting her up until December 16th. So it's all the time we have for now for this morning. Do enjoy the rest of your day. We do hope that it's going good so far. Your week is going well so far. We do hope that you are productive, whatever you're doing. I know it's June. The kids are preparing for exams. Some of them are in exams right now. Common entrance is upcoming. Our thoughts and prayers going out to you guys. For those of you who are at the respiratory hospital right now, our thoughts and prayers going out to you. No one at this moment having any complications at this time, based on the word we're getting from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. So we hope that you have a full recovery in a short possible time, and we have as little new cases of COVID-19 going forward. We should have perfected this by now, ensuring that you adhere to the COVID-19 protocols, ensuring that you adhere to the curfew, the state of emergency, and everything will be fine. Yeah? Jessie Leon signing off for now. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.